Essex Basecamp is finally here. You've heard a lot about it. But can I ask, has anyone actually been to Everest Basecamp? A show of hands if anyone's been there. Done it? One person, excellent, that's good. So you'll know that climbing that mountain is one heck of a challenge. And it reminds us of that classic quote that the best views come after the hardest climb. And we've got that to look forward to, folks, right here in Essex with this transformation programme. Now, this session is all about our story, where we've come from and where we're going to. But before I say anything else, I want to focus us on why we're all here today. And as Milo and Emma said, it's all about young people. Lots of what we're going to talk about is around adults and how we change the volunteer journey. But we must remember that everything we do will shape their lives and grow them into future leaders. It's about getting our numbers back to pre-pandemic levels, not including the hundreds of squirrels that have recently joined Scouting in Essex and supporting as many young people as we can. And young people need us like never before. We've all seen the impact that the pandemic's had on them. Over half said their mental health had worsened during that period. They missed out on learning, on social connections, access to the outdoors, and are still recovering today. And the effects of that were felt most hardest in the deprived areas, and that's something we really need to take to heart and see what we can do to help. And we're going to hear from some of those young people now.
Was it lockdown? How did you feel when you couldn't come beavers?
Lonely, sad, upset.
Okay, why was that?
Because we weren't together and I never got to see my friends or neighbours.
Oh, was that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think I felt like I was in isolation. Like I was in one big box. First, I felt really alone, a bit upset because I didn't get to do activities in person with my friends. But when I got used to it, a few days later, I felt a bit more confident online.
At the start of lockdown, I felt really sad and alone because I couldn't come to clubs and do all the activities and get all the badges. I felt really sad because I couldn't also see my friends because I've got a lot of them here.
At the start of lockdown, I felt like I was sad and everyone else was sad because I was sad and extremely bored.
And it does feel bad because you're alone, you're only with the people who you live, like your mom or dad.
It started out great, but then when the lockdown began, it was very bad because I couldn't go to beavers and see my friends.
And it impacted me because I wasn't able to socialise, which made me feel really down.
Quite a lot to take in there. Some really powerful messages there about how hard these times have been for our young people. And us, let's not forget that, us as well. But as Scouts, we didn't stand by. Every one of you in this room rose to that challenge. You delivered thousands of meetings on Zoom or Teams or any other format we could find. You fundraised, you supported families, you got back together safely and helped us launch Squirrels during this period of time as well, in precisely the areas where young people could benefit most. We will never forget the difference that you made to those young people's lives. And that's why, when the history books are written about this period of time, it will go down as one of the most significant chapters in our history of Scouting. Now, why are we talking about stories so much? Well, we all love stories. Telling stories and listening to them, it's how we learn, it's how we share ideas and discover our place in the world. In Scouts, we've always told stories, around the campfire, in the minibus, on social media, about the changes we've seen and the good times and the bad. We can all tell stories from the last few years, some tragic, some uplifting, closing the doors on our meeting places, camping at home. That was an interesting concept, wasn't it? Setting up tents and dens and that kind of thing in our houses. hiking to the moon or racing around the world, and then coming back together again when we were allowed to. Even though we saw a huge drop in our youth membership in that period of time, we bounced back really well here in Essex. We had 18% growth last year, which was amazing. But that recovery still continues, and we can't be complacent. We've got to get those numbers back to pre-pandemic levels. So today is all about coming together to share our stories and plan the next chapter in the history of Essex Scouts. In particular, we'll be focusing on why better, easier and more attractive volunteering is key. Because here's the thing, Scouting itself is a story. It's a series of chapters that take you on a journey right back from 1907 to today. The story began that first day when those young people first set foot on Brownsea Island, and it takes us right up to today with us all in this room here together. Pastor Hamish.
Thanks, James. Can I just say thanks for allowing me to invade Essex. I mean, it's not a personal invasion, you understand, but it's really great to be able to join you all this morning and during the day for this really important event. Bob is going to giggle in a minute because in a sense I have to present myself as Doctor Who going back in time, which we're both of an age where we could probably remember to do that. But this is not a unique experience for Scouting. If you take yourselves back to those of us that could do that, back 1967, the Advance Party Report, huge transformation, creation of Venture Scouts, change of uniform, getting rid of shorts, all that kind of stuff. Quite some time later, 1986, we introduced things in grey tops, otherwise known as beavers. Everybody will remember the beaver tops. You can have a view about whether the beaver tops were good or bad and all that kind of stuff. But actually, beavers have been a huge success. It took everybody a little while to get used to having this new upstart section. I have no doubt that will take a little while for another new upstart section to fully embed in time, otherwise known as squirrels just now. But we've had our challenges in that sense over the years, and we've done other things along the way. 1991, we said that we were fully mixed. I suspect that in the dark corners of Essex, like in every other county, there are small corners that are not yet fully mixed. But nonetheless, we welcome boys and girls of all ages into our youth sections. I do realise that girls were in Venture Scouts from about, was it 1976 or thereabouts? But nonetheless, it was all the sections from 1991 onwards. We also have been through some real challenges. We were hemorrhaging membership in the back end of the 90s. And you may recall that round about in the early noughties, if you like, we rejigged the programme, we rejigged the uniform, we changed the way we approach things. We've had Chief Scouts now who take a positive part in our presentation to the public and so on. And we've had some great years until the pandemic hit. Actually, if you were in any other charity, they would say that we've come out of this better than some, than many, than most. Because we actually have something that we deliver to young people and that we entertain them. And we may have done it by Zoom or by whatever in the meantime. But it's a really important thing to just recall that it's not all gloom and doom, but it is important. I think the video that you just saw showed that kids need Scouting. Not all kids need Scouting, but many, many, many kids need Scouting. And that's a reason for us going back to the pre-pandemic levels and hopefully a long way past that. So I've commented on the squirrels there. That's about giving opportunities to young people. There's a lot of research that goes on that shows if we can get to young people when they're young, they become even better human beings, skills for life, and all that sort of stuff as they grow and develop. So back to James.
Thank you, Hamish. So Back in 2017, there was an event called Summit 17, where Scouting nationally recognised, once again, it was time for us to change. And all the changes you just heard from Hamish about over our history, it's a constant for us. And even though we're growing, we knew we couldn't rest on our laurels. Our brand was growing stale. People didn't realise or didn't really understand what we stood for, and we were struggling to prove our relevance. Volunteers found it difficult to join, didn't feel welcomed, and often didn't stay. So that's when we made our plan for the future. We weren't afraid to dream big, and we accepted a fundamental truth. And that is, if we're to remain a relevant youth movement and do justice to our great legacy, we had to change. And so the Skills for Life strategy was born. And this is the plan that we're working on. So it focuses on 4 key areas of growth: inclusivity, youth-shaped scouting and community impact, but with a focus on people, programme and perception. And they're probably phrases or terms you may be used to hearing. Now, we're still delivering on this plan. It originally ran through to 2023, but obviously with the couple of years we lost during the pandemic, that has been extended to 2025. And that's what everything we're talking about today is about, working on and building through to deliver to that period of time. So you'll also notice on here that there's been some extras added. That is digital transformation and early years as strategic programs. Obviously, we've heard a lot about early years. We've got 19 squirrel droves already in Essex, which is amazing. And you'll be hearing plenty about these and other programs in our seminars and workshops today and over the coming months and years. But let's look at what we've achieved together. A new strategy, a new brand, incredible work to expand our reach in areas of deprivation, work to inspire social action through a million's hands and a promise to the planet. We've improved the quality and delivery of programs, revamped the UK website, and added an activities finder to hopefully make it easier to plan our programs. And it's being used by thousands of people every month. We've given more opportunity to young people to shape their scouting. Over 500 youth commissioners now in post nationally. We have our county youth commissioner here today. We have our amazing young people, Milo and Emma, emceeing all day. There's really great opportunities for everybody to get involved. Some of our training has already moved online, and that's already making volunteering easier. Our public perception is as strong as it's ever been, with record media coverage, particularly through the pandemic. I'm sure you've seen Matt and Carl and others on BBC News, and other channels are available. And perhaps most dramatically, as we've mentioned a few times now, is the launch of squirrels during that pandemic period. And the numbers are skyrocketing. There's over 700 squirrel drays now across the UK and growing. And we are part of that right here in Essex as well. And that is testament to the incredible effort and time that all of you and all of our volunteers put into making that possible. This means we have thousands more young people from new backgrounds and nearly 1,500 volunteers supporting those squirrel drays nationally. These are the stories that inspire us. So that's everything we've achieved so far. There's a lot there, and there's a lot more to do. We've achieved some amazing things, and that's by working together, learning new skills outdoors and helping others. It's what we did on day one, back in 1907, and we're still doing it today. And that's why we're focused on the North Star. Here it is, shining brightly on screen. You'll see, this is something you'll hear a lot about from us today, about our North Star, because we may get bogged down in some detail around adults and volunteering and processing digital and all those kind of things today. But it's important that we keep our sights set on giving more young people skills for life. We can't let that really positive message and our numbers be skewed by the fact that squirrels open. So we're looking to get back to pre-pandemic numbers, minus squirrels in terms of our numbers, just to be really clear about that. We need to get all our sections growing strongly and welcome in those 3,000 young people that sit on waiting lists in Essex. 3,000. That's a lot of people, and there's a lot more we could do. Hamish. back to you.
Thanks, James. So that picture there, just before we move off it, there's a really easy summary of it. The only thing as a charity that we deliver is program for young people so they get skills for life. The only thing we deliver is program. And the important thing that goes around that program, there's actually two truths. One is we deliver program, and the other is it's all done by volunteers with some staff support around the place. But by and large, it's all done by volunteers. There are many charities that would give their right arm to have an army of volunteers doing that kind of stuff. So it's volunteers like yourselves, and we recognise that we need to make volunteering easier and to reach out to a range of communities so that we can reach more communities and service more communities. We shouldn't be just servicing the communities that we currently serve. Across Essex, there'll be communities that don't have scouting, and we need to reach to them just in the same as we do across the country. And it's not just individual communities or villages or small towns or whatever, but it's also about backgrounds and everything else, so that we can be truly diverse in what we actually do and what we deliver, and that's a real key. We want to be, in a sense, without being arrogant about it or anything like that, we want to be the youth service, if you want, for everybody. So we need to go out beyond our traditional heartlands into new and different places and new and different communities, that diversity and inclusion. And in order to do that, we need to make it easier to attract people, to retain people, and frankly, to make volunteering more fun. And we get bogged down sometimes in the red tape and the keeping things safe, and you have got to jump through a million hoops to get things. We still need to keep things safe, but we do need to make it easier for people like yourselves and lots of other people who could volunteer to come and join us. If we can do some of that stuff, which is what today is really about, and the next many months, we'll be able to recruit new volunteers and keep the ones that we have. We're not looking to remove anybody on. Really important to know that. What we are looking to do is to make sure that we recruit as many possible volunteers as possible, and to have as many of them as possible focused on delivery of program to young people. That's the only thing we do. And if we're not delivering the program, and many of us don't, we should be doing things that cause those who do deliver program to be better able to do it, or more easily able to do it. And so that takes us back to the prize of not only getting back to pre-pandemic numbers, as James has rightly and eloquently said, but actually beyond that. The North Star isn't pre-pandemic numbers. The North Star's wherever you like to be beyond that. In 2019, 2020, we did a lot of consultation with a lot of people. There's certainly in excess of 5,000 people, adults, volunteers, who had their say about what volunteering felt like, many across Essex at all levels. Recently, that has carried on as we've moved from the genuine consultation stage into making sure that what we're developing is right. Through testing hubs, many of you will have seen the testing hub, and we're also working regularly with a panel of about 600 volunteers through various workshops and focus groups and so on to shape the solutions that we are going to enjoy and employ for the future.
Thank you, Hamish. From that research, it was discovered that the needs of potential volunteers have changed. How often have we sat there and gone, you need to come every week? It's not how the world views things these days. And that's why we have to offer a warmer welcome, more flexibility and better day-to-day support for our volunteers with the right digital tools and more engaging ways to learn. So work continued on this in the background throughout the pandemic. So although we extended the strategy by 2 years, some of the work did still happen whilst we were dealing with all of the going on Zoom, making sure we get back face-to-face safely. But it's vital now that we move this front and centre again, and we move it forward, and we start delivering on what we promised back at Summit 17. But we need to weave into that what we've learned from and during the pandemic. There was a huge surge in volunteering across the country as people rallied to support their communities. I know many people in this room personally, and I know you have been involved in that, and I'm sure others have as well. We need to seize that opportunity and be part of that boom. We need to adapt and respond to the new world. People's lives are different now. I know for myself, might be for a lot of other people, I work from home a lot. I have less travel time, save some money as well, it's great. But people have different relationships with their communities and those around them. And that's why this event will be tackling how we adapt to that new reality, how our culture needs to change, how we can make Scouts easier to join, and how we can attract a new generation of volunteers to complement all of our amazing volunteers we already have. Good things are starting to happen already, but if that's to continue, again, we need to accept that fundamental truth. Things only happen when we embrace change, when we have the courage to rethink and reboot, and take people with us, when we remind them of the story that they're part of and the incredible journey that they've been on. We've proved that, and we've proved that we can also change when we need to, showing again why we're a movement, not an organisation.
Whilst this is a story, it's not a fairy tale. We can't just wave a magic wand, that'd be nice, but it's not going to work like that. To make this happen, we need to sharpen our focus. We need to reshape our roles and rethink how we work together, how we recruit and welcome people, and make the best use of digital tools. It makes it sound like we're going all digital. We mustn't forget that there are people for whom digital is not their preferred method of working. But actually, in the end, if we're going to be a movement that's growing and supporting our volunteers and all that stuff, it needs to be there. And we need to, the really key part is to keep our volunteers, our people, at the heart of the story, so that they're delivering magnificent programs for as many young people as possible. So, let's remember to have fun. Let's remember to give volunteers a space to do what they enjoy. And lest we forget, it's also about helping more young people gain the skills for life. It's that program piece. Remember those young people that we heard from earlier on? This is the difference that you made.
So when we started Zoom, it made me feel a lot better because I was experiencing that I wasn't the only one experiencing this whole lockdown thing, and there was other people doing it too. It made me feel much better because there were friends and we had lots of activities to do, so we weren't bored and so.
Once we started doing face-to-face, it was the best probably because we got to, talk, and there was a lot of support from my leaders as they made sure that I was all right and checked up on me very regularly, which was very helpful.
When I did the Zoom sessions, I felt happy because I got to see everyone again. But I felt even happier when I went to see everyone face-to-face. After lockdown, I went to the hut and it was even better than before.
And I enjoyed coming back to clubs because I got to see my friends in real life and I got to do the activities.
Coming back to Scouts was a really fun time because I could see all my friends again and I could count on something to see in the week, and that I had something that I knew wouldn't bring me down. Thank you, Scouts. Dziękuję. That's thank you in Polish.
So now's the time to get started. We've heard from our young people about the difference that we've made, and with your commitment and generosity, your wisdom and know-how, I know we can achieve even greater things together. So let's have a great Essex Basecamp event. Let's have some great conversations, ask loads of questions on the app, using the QR codes on your lanyards, and fully embrace the day. Now, before I hand back to Milo and Emma, we do have a final video to finish with a very special person wishing us to have a really good day.
Hi everyone, Carl Hankinson, UK Chief Commissioner, and I just want to say hello and welcome to all of you to the Essex Transformation Day. I'm sorry I can't be with you. Myself and all of the UK leadership team are here this weekend at Gilwell Park. We've had a long-standing workshop arrangement, so we're working hard as well and also enjoying ourselves, but I'm sorry that we can't be with you today. I know a lot of our other colleagues are there to support James Hopkins, your transformation lead, and all the team that have organised today's date. So we hope that you feel well supported and you'll enjoy the time that you spend together, and it'll be informative and actually, I would hope, really motivating as well. Remember, our Skills for Life strategy started in 2017, and that seems an awful long time ago, like everything that was before COVID. And remember, as a movement back then, that we all decided what we wanted to do, and in fact, we have made some really good progress. The introduction of schools for early years. We've thought about how we want to grow scouting. We've thought about different updates to our brand, and it seems a long time ago that we updated our brand, but of course that also came out of our Skills for Life strategy. And we've been doing some work for a long time now to think about how we can make scouting more reflective of our communities, but also how we transform how we volunteer for all of us, to make sure that volunteering continues to be enjoyable but manageable for today and for tomorrow. Remember, we've not looked at how we volunteer for an awful long time. Some of the ways that we do this has been in place for decades, really, and we would all agree the world has changed around us. So we've been going around doing AGMs, and I'll, by the way, be with Essex next year for your AGM. I've always said these are really exciting times, and whilst we've gone through a torrid period, I think the next few years are going to be some of our most exciting, and together we'll write that chapter. And I think the areas that you're going to cover today are going to be part of that, to look at how we can transform our volunteering, the support that will be required, the digital tools that we can provide, to also give some thought on how we can make sure that our growth continues to ensure that our membership reflects UK society. These are the opportunities. Challenges for sure, change is tricky and not everybody likes change, but I think there's just a golden opportunity for all of us here. So look, I wish you all well. Have a great day. I hope it's useful. Have great discussions, share your concerns, enjoy it. But I would like people also to just think about the opportunity that we have ahead of us that, you know, I think is really worth taking. It's exciting times for us in Scouts. Young people need us now more than ever. And I think all of us as volunteers also need to enjoy what we do. And we can see many, many ways that it could be better. So thank you once again, James, and all the team for everything you're doing. Enjoy yourselves today. Please be kind to the people that are there to support you. And we will see you all soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.